So when you think about military physical training, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I'm guessing it's something super intense, right? You're probably picturing mud, obstacle courses, maybe some drill sergeant yelling about push-ups. But that's really just the Hollywood version. Let's peel back those layers and find out what's really going on.
Yep, exactly. Words like these, they're what we all instinctively connect with military training. On the surface, the goal seems pretty straightforward, right? Just build the toughest, strongest soldiers you can. It all seems to be about raw physical power and just having that sheer will to push through anything.
But is that the whole picture? What if that's just scratching the surface? Turns out, modern military PE is way more sophisticated than just a bunch of grueling workouts. It's actually a really carefully designed strategy. So what is that strategy? Let's dig in.
So yeah, let's look past all those Hollywood stereotypes for a minute. The reality of military physical education today is that it's designed to build a whole lot more than just muscle.
The approach these days isn't just about physical conditioning, it's about building a complete person. The real focus is on holistic development. It's about preparing people not just for the immediate demands of a mission, but really for a lifetime of well-being.
Okay, so the goals here are way bigger than you might think. We're not just talking about physical readiness. It's also about building up mental fortitude, making sure of psychosocial well-being, and, of course, hitting peak operational performance. And this is a big one, promoting long-term health. It's a whole system designed to support the entire person.
And this kind of training has to walk a really fine line. The military environment itself is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, doing all these exercises as a group builds incredible social bonds and teamwork. But on the flip side, you've got this rigid hierarchy and constant pressure to perform, which can lead to overtraining, injuries, and sometimes it can even get in the way of more creative teaching methods.
So, how do you deal with those challenges to build that complete, well-rounded soldier? Well, the answer is in a pretty specific educational framework.
This isn't just random, it's actual pedagogy. The whole system is built around 3 core dimensions of learning that are all designed to work together to create this truly integrated person.
So, let's break down exactly how this works. These dimensions are what's known as the 3 pillars of training, and honestly, they're kind of the secret sauce to this whole approach.
All right, first up, we have the conceptual pillar. This is basically the why. See, it's not enough to just go through the motions. Cadets have to understand the theory behind it all. The anatomy, the physiology, the nutrition. Why does this specific workout help your heart? How does that technique prevent you from getting injured? Having this knowledge is what empowers them to train smarter, not just harder.
Next up is the procedural pillar. This is the how. This is where all that theory gets put into practice. It's about mastering the actual physical skills, doing the movements correctly and efficiently, whether we're talking about a long run, carrying a heavy load, or even a complex combat drill. This is where you apply all that great knowledge from the first pillar.
And the third pillar, this one is attitudinal. This is all about the character. Here, physical training becomes a tool to literally forge military values. Every single grueling exercise is a chance to build discipline, resilience, and teamwork. I mean, when you help a teammate who's struggling to get over an obstacle, you're not just getting a workout, you're building that sense of camaraderie and leadership.
And here you can really see how it all clicks together. You know the principles, then you execute the task based on what you know, and through that very act of doing, you start to embody the core values. It's this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in a real training session? Let's walk through a quick, practical example.
Okay, let's make this real. Imagine a pretty standard resistance training circuit. The instructor kicks things off with the conceptual part, right? They'll explain exactly how this exercise is going to build strength and endurance. Then you move to the procedural. The cadets actually do the circuit, making sure their technique is spot on. But here's the key. The attitudinal pillar is happening the whole time. You've got cadets cheering each other on, offering a hand, and just facing that challenge together. That's how you build those core values of teamwork and resilience right into the workout.
Now, this whole integrated approach has a purpose that goes way beyond just passing the next fitness test or even completing the next mission.
The true goal here is transformation. It's about getting cadets to really internalize these concepts and habits so that they become a fundamental part of who they are. The idea is to ensure their health and effectiveness not just for a few years, but for their entire careers and even after.
There's a quote from the source material that just nails it.
It says the goal is to provide a deep understanding of how training habits impact operationality, health, and quality of life in the long term. So in other words, it's not just about being fit for today, it's about being healthy and resilient for your entire life.
And that brings us to a really fascinating final thought. Think about it. We've just looked at a system designed for the most extreme pressures imaginable, and at its core, it's all about building the whole person, mind, body, and character. So it really makes you wonder, right? What can this kind of holistic model, this integration of the why, the how, and the character, what can it teach us about education everywhere else? In our schools, in our workplaces, maybe even in our own lives?